Hello and welcome to Kenpo University. My name is Alan Babinick and I am your instructor. Today we have to have kind of a serious little talk in that a lot of people in today's society, luckily, have never been in a fight in their life. All right? Good for you. Wish I could be in that crowd, but I'm not. And what you want to think about, I normally have this talk. This is a school talk I do with my students, actually when we start doing knife work, when we start doing the lance techniques up in Brown. And what I want to get across to them is that just because a technique does something and it stabs somebody or cuts them in a place where they're not going to recover from it, doesn't mean you have to do it that way. All right? So you have to look at your conscience. And you have to say, can I live with myself if I did this to somebody? All right? Now, if you've never thrown a punch against somebody in a fight and hit them and broke their nose or blackened somebody's eye or broke a rib, or especially with breaks, you take a look at a lot of our techniques and you're going to hyperextend or break their elbows and their wrists and everything else on them pretty much, right? So sometimes we're doing some pretty nasty damage to people. And before you do this type of thing, you have to make sure your conscience can handle it. So, and again, I usually have this talk when we're doing knives and guns, all right, when it's deadly. But what you want to think about is if you accidentally run over a raccoon with your car. Terrible thing. If you're the kind of person that has nightmares for weeks or for the rest of your life, you probably don't want to use a knife technique and slice somebody in the throat or stab them into the heart or something like that. It probably wouldn't be for you. All right? So if you have nightmares about hurting people, or your conscience eats at you, you probably don't want to shoot somebody because it's not like on TV where, oh, I'll just shoot him in the shoulder and he'll be fine or she'll be fine. Nah. If you don't regularly go out and fire a weapon, who knows where you're going to hit? If you're going to hit them, you could hit an innocent bystander. And then if you did shoot somebody, could you live with yourself? And that's really what I'm getting at with this particular video, is if you did snapping twig on someone and you stepped back and you broke their arm, could you live with yourself? There's screaming involved, right? Nobody gets their arm hyperextended without a lot of screaming. So could you live with yourself after doing something like that? Or is it going to eat away at you? So what you just want to think about, all right, if you're trying to break the elbow, you have to hit in a very specific spot to make it work easily. If you're the kind of person that doesn't want to do that, you can adjust your target. It makes the technique harder. I'll be honest with you. Being nice to people is always harder than being mean to people in the martial arts. Okay? Because if I hit you, if I'm doing snapping twig and I break your elbow, you're going to, if they were pushing me to punch me, if you snap their elbow, they're definitely going to hold where it hurts. They're going to be screaming. They're going to be in pain. They're not thought cancellation. They're not thinking about hitting you. All right? If you hit them way up here in the tricep someplace and you just you just extend their arm, you're not going to get that same reaction. So it's harder. Okay? Not saying it can't be done. Not saying that. I'm just saying it's harder. But if you're doing a knife technique, if I do videos on the knife fighting and stuff like that, I'll go over this. But there's places on the body where you could slash and not worry about accidentally hitting a major vein or artery. And, if you're doing the techniques, you're probably going to end up hitting a major vein or artery. So as you go through these, you have to make sure your conscience is up for it. You really have to stop, You know, if you pray, if you meditate, or just stop and think about it and say, could I live with myself if I accidentally broke somebody's arm, not even accidentally, but if I broke somebody's arm, or if I accidentally killed somebody by knife or gun or something like that, can you live with yourself? And most people are all, yeah, I could do it, no problem. But you never know. And so I want you to think about it first, and then figure out how you want to do your Kenpo. Thank you for watching this video production from Kenpo University.